So, gang, as you know, for the past couple of months, for past few months, my team and I, through video blogging and articles that we've written, we've been making certain predictions to help our coaching members, we call them power agents, navigate this new real estate reality that we find ourselves in once again because of this commission lawsuit. And we have been making some predictions over the past few months that might happen and how it would change the landscape of our industry. And it turns out every one of those predictions that we've made has come true. And there's more change coming. So we want to help you guys be ahead of the curve and be proactive in this process. Now, before I go any further, in this post somewhere, and Sarah, if it's not in the post, if you can put it, there should be a link to a training session that we're going to be doing in less than 30 minutes on this very topic, and it's going to go deep, over 2 hours, on what the commission lawsuit is, what our predictions were, what the settlements have been, and new ways to present commission on a listing appointment. And with your buyers, it's you whatever. Here's what I'm going to tell you: if you have an appointment coming up in the next 30 minutes, if you can change it, you should really be on this training session that's free to you, because it really is awesome. It's a rebroadcast from Wednesday, and it blew people's socks off. I'm very proud of what we're doing to help you guys navigate this. The reason for this recording, though, is because I just read something this morning from Inman News that I wanted to communicate with you immediately and give you some dialogue. So give me about less than 10 minutes. Here is what I read this morning. REBNY, and let me just, for those of you who don't know, in New York City, there's a group of brokers that they're not NAR members, they're not realtors, or maybe they could be, but they have their own association, their own board. It's called Real Estate Board of New York. They have their own MLS, like New York City. It's its own world, and I can say that affectionately as a fellow New Yorker. So this board of agents and brokers. The rule change will require sellers to pay buyer agents directly. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article. By the way, if you're not a member of NAR, of Inman, if you don't have that subscription, you should absolutely. It's one of the best in our industry. There's a lot of great ones. This happens to be one of the best ones. So I'm not going to read the whole article because I want to keep this under 10 minutes. But I can tell you basically, here's what it says. I'll read it to you because I know it's hard to read. Starting January 1st, this board rules will prevent listing brokers from paying the buyer's agent and will instead require the sellers to pay commission directly to that selling agent. So essentially what this is, which is something we predicted, and we're going to talk about on the training at 12, that they're saying from now on the seller will pay the buyer's agent directly, as opposed to the listing agent paying the selling agent. Now, this is a good thing. I'm going to give you some dialogue, by the way, and how to present this, because I'm telling you, here's another prediction. This model that they're doing in New York City, a lot of other boards, if not all boards and all MLSs, are going to adopt the same thing. That's my prediction. You heard it here. Mark the date. So to get ahead of this, here is the dialogue on how to do this. If you attend the training that today at 12, I'm going to show you how to present the listing commission directly to the seller. What this is going to do now, I'm going to share with you the dialogue on how to ask the homeowner to pay the selling broker's commission separate, right? Now, by the way, as a disclaimer, because we're in the middle of this lawsuit, I'm not price fixing. I'm going to use numbers. The numbers are as examples only. You decide what you charge as an individual agent to homeowners and to buyers. That's all on you. It's because commissions are negotiable. I'm going to just simply use the number I used when I was an agent, which is 3 and 3 is 6%. But I'm going to watch. So you, Mr. and Mrs. Hana. So we've already agreed to this, the listing commission side of things. You chose the 3% plan, which is great. Now let's talk about the selling agent. Now, whenever a buyer comes to us, they're going to be working with an agent, and that selling agent is going to charge a fee as well. I don't know what their fee is because fees are negotiable, but I'm going to use me as an example. When I work with buyers, my selling fee is 3%. So we'll use that as an example. So let's say we're asking $500,000 on MLS. We have a buyer who comes, they want to buy the house, they have their own agent, and they want to pay us the $500,000. And they're putting down 10%. Okay, so on 10%, they're paying $50,000 down, plus they've got their closing costs. And here in New York, a closing cost would be about $30,000. So now you're at $80,000. And then they have their moving costs, and they probably need some furniture because the place they're coming from doesn't. They have one couch. By the way, I don't know how these poor kids do this, right? These poor kids, they how do they buy a house that's so hard financially, right? So if, let's say, this buyer and the homeowner say, yeah, right, okay, and plus the interest rates have doubled in the past year. So that's a burden for these guys. Now, let's say this buyer who's got 10% to put down, they're just on the line to buy, but they're going to pay their agent 3%. They don't have 10% anymore. Now they're at 7%. Now, here's the problem there. That makes it more of a burden for the buyer to maybe qualify for the mortgage. Their mortgage payment's going to go up, and that burdens them. So in other words, this just makes it harder and harder. And one of the things we could do as an option, because if we have a pool of buyers for our $500,000 house like this, and there's a hurdle now called this part of this fee, now the pool of buyers we have shrinks. And when our pool shrinks, our activity shrinks, which means offers shrink, which means less price in selling. So marketing is, we don't want to shrink our pool, we want to expand our pool. Now, I'm going to be doing that with our MLS and the marketing, the open houses and the flyers and the call. Like I'm going to do everything I can to bring a pool of buyers. But to remove this obstacle, one of the things we could do, if you want, it's up to you, is we can offer an incentive fee to pay the buyer's agent's fee for them, so now they don't have to worry about that. And then they might say, well, how much should we do, Darryl? Well, I don't know, because I don't know what that agent's going to charge, because fees are negotiable. They could charge $500. It could be 1%, 2%, 3%. If we use me as the example, if let's say there's an agent who's like me and they do 3%, and if we did 3%, boy, we just totally removed the obstacle, which now expands our buyer pool. We could do 2%. We could do 1%. And if it's 2% and that buyer's agent does 3%, then that buyer pays that 1%. Or maybe that agent negotiates, say, you know what, I love you. Don't worry about 3. I'll take the 2. But that's not for us to worry about. That's between that agent and their buyer. But this incentive fee, we can contribute towards it, and the higher we go, the more marketable a property goes. So whatever you want to do. Now, you could do this. If you're in a market where prices are still going up, it's still a hot seller's market, and the prices are going up, you could say this, for those of you that's the market. Mr. Ms. Hanna, to be honest, what I'd love to see is we're at $500,000 now. If we put it out on MLS for $515,000, I don't think that's going to hurt us at all. And that'll expand our buyers if we make that extra 15 as part of the 3% incentive fee. In other words, we're just going to go take that incentive fee of 3% and put it into our asking price. So now I'll change the MLS. It's not 500, we'll make it 515, and bada bing, there you go. So that's an option as well. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say. First of all, I hope this is helping. Can you guys tell me if this is helping you? Can I see some chat over here? I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read what the hell's going on. Does this making sense here? Sarah, are we okay? Is everybody still hearing us and seeing us? And is it coming through okay? And do you guys like this? Now, while I'm waiting for you to comment, unless you guys are just eating food and playing me in the background and you're not really paying attention. I don't know how this live thing works. Okay. Linda's the only one listening. All right. Good. Thank you, Linda Manning. Okay, Laura. Thank you very much, Laura. Yes, it's excellent. Okay, great. Good. So anybody else? Uh, nice tan. Thank you, Linda. All right, let's not talk about me personally. Sarah, don't forget there's a delay. Yeah, that's the nature of my life. My life is always on delay. Okay, so it seems like only two people are really paying attention. The rest of you are checking your emails while this is playing in the background. With that said, here's the last thing I'm going to say. Is I don't know if this is if the dialogue I just gave you helped you. Maybe it could be a little smoother. But let me tell you, this is the most important thing I'm going to tell you. That number one, this is like the pandemic all over again, where in the respect where we were flying a new airplane while building it at the same time. While this commission lawsuit is happening, there's going to be every day or at least once a week, there's going to be a new something that comes out, and we're going to be scrambling trying to figure it out. And we're going to be there to help you. And I'm going to create new techniques and new strategies, new dialogue. And like some of my colleagues, they'll probably be doing it too, other trainers and other speakers. And it may not come out very smooth because this is all new for us. This is the analogy I'm going to use. If you had a knot in your shoulder, you got that knot in the shoulder, and you go to a masseuse and they start to work it out. Well, as soon as they touch that thing, it hurts. But eventually what happens, it breaks it up, that little knot, and then you feel normal again, right? This is, right now, we have a knot in our shoulder called this commission lawsuit. This is a knot in our necks. Now, as we work through it, we're going to make mistakes. It's going to be painful and uncomfortable, but eventually we will work through it, because here is what is absolutely true about our industry. Every time we had this earth-shattering something, whether it was discount brokers or what was something, the pandemic, or every time we thought the sky was falling on our industry, that thing actually made us stronger as an industry. And I believe that's what's going to happen here too, especially with this commission lawsuit. I think we're going to be better for it. We're going to be able to get more listings, because now we're not have to sell the whole commission, just the part of it. There's so many benefits. All right, I'm going to let you go, because listen, you guys got to get on whatever you've got going on right now. Get onto that webinar. Click on that link that's in the post, because the webinar starts in 15 minutes, okay? And buckle up, Buttercup, because you're going to learn a lot in that. Okay. Hope this helped you, gang. Please stay safe, stay focused, and of course, don't forget to keep smiling. All right, bye-bye.